Bill, thanks again for coming on the program, sir. I appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thanks, Cam, for having me on.
You bet. Okay, so the Environmental Protection Agency has opened up a public comment period on a petition from the Center for Biological Diversity. They want to ban all traditional ammunition under the Toxic Substance Control Act of 1976. And this public comment period extends only through, what, October 31st?
October 31. So
Okay.
This is our window to make our voice heard, and it's not a time to sit idly by while hunters and shooters could lose their choice to choose their ammunition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the Center for Biological Diversity, when it announced that it was going to do this, it sent out a release to its members saying that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or campaign to ban lead ammunition. They seem to be treating this very seriously. They seem to be pushing this very hard. And frankly, we know that the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Lisa Jackson, is someone who has not been that friendly to hunters in the past.
Not at all. Well, they think that they have a friendly ear at the EPA, and they probably do. We know that Lisa Jackson was the person in New Jersey who banned bear hunting there for a number of seasons, and of course now we know that since she's left, there is an open season for bear hunting, and so I think the Center for Biological Diversity is hoping for a favorable ruling from Lisa Jackson and her colleagues at EPA, and we have to weigh in. That's why we need all gun owners, hunters, and shooters to flood Mrs. Jackson's email box and make the point that lead ammunition is not harmful, and that it does support wildlife instead of harm it.
Well, absolutely. You know, and Bill, while we're talking about the petition that the Center for Biological Diversity has brought, they are trying to say that under the Toxic Substance Control Act of '76. Lead ammunition can be banned. I've heard that actually bans on ammunition are expressly prohibited under the Toxic Substance Control Act of 1976.
That's exactly right. Congress has expressly exempted ammunition from that act because ammunition has an excise tax that actually goes for funding wildlife conservation. So it's a benefit to wildlife, and they don't want EPA fooling with that great funding stream.
Okay, so based on that, I'm worried that there are some gun owners who are going to think, well, look, the statute says they can't ban lead ammunition. I don't have to contact the EPA. I said on the show last night, I think it's very possible that if the EPA wants to try to challenge the statute, they certainly can do that. I mean, we can't be resting on our laurels here.
Well, they can't, and we don't know for sure that there's not a loophole in there because the Center for Biological Diversity is asking EPA to consider banning the components of ammunition and not ammunition as a whole. So they're looking at the lead component portion of ammo, and you never know how an agency could rule on a request like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very serious issue here. We know that the gun control advocates, the anti-hunters, they don't just use legislative routes anymore. They will take folks to court, and they will increasingly use the regulatory systems that this country has to try to get their way when they know that they don't have the votes. I can't imagine that a ban on lead components or lead ammunition would make it through Congress, but this avoids the need for a vote.
Oh, that's exactly right. Well, they haven't done well in the courts, as we know, and they haven't really done well at the federal level with Congress. And so this regulatory approach is just another way to go at it. And we want hunters. It's not just about hunters. It's couched as banning hunting ammunition, but it's really not. A ban would affect all ammunition for hunters, target shooters, and law enforcement.
Law enforcement. Wow, this, Bill, on the surface, this seems like it's so crazy that the EPA would never agree to such a petition. Are you concerned that the EPA could say yes and approve this petition and try to enact a ban on ammunition?
Well, we are very concerned about it. We need to leave no stone unturned, and if anything bad happened because we didn't weigh in strongly enough, we would all bear the blame, including all hunters and shooters. So let's not take that chance. Let's weigh in and get to EPA and voice our opposition to this petition to ban traditional ammunition.
Absolutely. Now the comment period ends October 31st. That's 2 days before the midterm elections. Bill, do you think this is going to become an election issue or a campaign issue in some races around the country?
Well, it could very well be. The issue of firearms and ammunition has been relatively quiet. No elected official wants to touch that, but this may have put it on the table, and it'll be interesting to see, particularly how some Democrats respond to this.
All right. Well, again, Bill, I appreciate you coming on the program, sir. Thanks very much, and please give us any updates whenever you get them on this issue.
We will, Cam. Thanks a lot.
Bill Brassard with the National Shooting Sports Foundation joining us here on NRAnews.com.